Hi everyone, how are you? It's great seeing you on our seventh webinar. So, welcome to the seventh webinar on the second day of GFiT virtual conference. And this is a platform to network, experience, and innovate together for the future of technology. So, here at Good Firms, we bring the top IT players and pioneers under one roof to discuss technology and business with you. The use of IT products have accelerated the dynamics of every consumer industry. But the truth is that dynamics of the software industry still needs some changes. So what is going on right now? So for our seventh webinar, our speaker, Mr. Shakil Mohammed, if I'm pronouncing the name right, would discuss the dynamics of software development service, challenges faced by IT companies, and opportunities that lie as of now. So, Mr. Shakil Mohammed is a researcher, a serial entrepreneur, and a co founder to multiple startups that develop computer networks and blockchain applications. Currently, he's the co founder and chairman of RNS Solution, ex CEO Bands Network, OU, which aims to revolutionize the internet powered by blockchain. So, without any further ado, let's have Mr. Shakil Mohammed for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for kind introduction, Sasha, and thank you so much, um, Good Firms, for giving me opportunity to present on this August virtual event. So first of all, I will introduce myself. I did BS from Pakistan, and then I work as a researcher at Government of Pakistan, cybersecurity researcher. Then I did MS and PhD from KAIS, and then made some software development startups. So let's move to RNS solution. We are developing software mostly related to blockchain, but we have other vertical as well. For example, e-commerce and AI. Some of our labs are blockchain, AI, and cybersecurity and design labs, and we have two startups. One is Anthelia Blockchain, and one is Erosri. So, bird eye view, what I am going to present next, I will be talking about software development challenges and what is the way forward, and whether we have to have in-house software development team, or how can we choose outsourcing team. And then I will present two use cases, our own experience, our own projects that we executed with in-house team and as well as outsourcing. So software fails mostly. There is a Standish group. They have chaos report. They are studying multiple software development projects in different segments, 4 year, 5 years, and they publish their reports. So some of the data that I pick up from that report suggest the smaller size projects, the failure are incompletion, the over budgeted projects are 16.2%. And for the larger companies and for the large size of projects, the success rate is more lower, only 9% project completed on time and on budget. So why this around 83% project? And this data is alone only for US, which is versed industry in software development. Why mostly projects fails, cancel, and over budgeted? Why US alone is wasting annually 100 billion US dollar on failure of the software development? And out of these 83% project failure, cancel, 56% projects completed with over budgeting. And the over budget is for average is around 189% to complete one project. So what are challenges in software development? Why software projects are failing? Why they are canceling? Why there is over budgeting? And how can we cope up such challenge? So let's review first of all software development life cycle. When we go to schools, universities, we usually study in software engineering, software development lifecycle. So software development lifecycle, there are different building blocks, the different order people usually put. But the first one is user requirement, and the user requirement itself is a big topic. But I am just uh, mm, talking about my topic, not individual topic mostly. So in this user requirement, we have analysis, planning, defining requirements, and doing prototyping. And then we do architect of the software, and then we go for the development. And then we have product testing and integration, and later on we have deployment and maintenance of the project. So I highlighted here product testing and integration and SRS. Why I highlighted, these are the most important segment of software development. Usually, and the mostly people usually go for the product development. They only focus on product architecture or the product management, the software management. They didn't pay that much attention to the software analysis that is called SRS. And we believe in the software requirement specification, or SRS. This entire first part I put in one segment, that is SRS, and it affects all other segments. So usually in projects, not entire team is involved in SRS. So let's dig down more, and let's see from these some data from the chaos and the Standish report. We find out these are the area where usually software development struggle. As I earlier suggested, SRS, and then the project management and writing code or doing code, and then the testing and documentation. So in SRS, usually the requirements are incomplete, and the user give requirement to the development team. Sometimes they don't define much, and usually SRS have more sentences instead of the development language, and these sentences have double meanings. So these are usually verbose, I can say. And in SRS, the other problem is only users are involved, or business analysts are involved, and not entire team is involved in the SRS process. So we suggest here, usually entire team should be involved in SRS. Even the testing, the QA and the QC guys have to be in SRS, not only developers. If developers are not involved in SRS, it will not make bigger difference if your software requirement specification is well documented and it is they are very detailed. Then another project, another part where software have challenges are project management. So if you do not have a good SRS, you usually do wrong estimations. You usually didn't make your projects well planned, you didn't define your user activities. And another challenge in project management come for the poor project performance tracking. What is the status of your project right now, and what will be the status next week, and whether you are meeting your deadlines, whether you are going to delay. So this tracking is also very important. Another challenge in project managements come when the user requirements are change. There is some change in the business goal, and that reflected in your user requirement. So there should be there should be change management, and usually in project managements we find out the change management is poor in project management. That's also that's how software struggles. The code is around 10% of this entire data segment, but this code I will divide in two parts. One is syntactic code, and one is semantic. Syntactic is kind of like the design pattern, the code pattern. how the code should be look like instead of how code should will work. And that is a code semantic part. So in code design and pattern, for example, we have one project we were developing in 2018, one wallet code. And there were 10 developers, those were working over that period of time. And recently we find out the cyclomatic changes and that cyclomatic complexity increase over the period of time when there are different developer involved in one code. So if you keep track of your design patterns, code, how your code look like, then that kind of cyclomatic pattern or the cyclomatic complexity you can remove from your project. And then there are other challenge in that synthetic part of the coding is fan in, fan out. How many inputs are coming, how many inputs are going out, and parameters there. And usually in larger projects, projects struggle to keep record of those things. And in semantic part, there are very well detailed documents and guidelines available for the code semantic. If you are using some company base, like the bigger company base framework, Golang, you can find the Golang guidelines. For .NET, you can find Microsoft related guidelines to write your code. You can manage that one, especially projects struggle in code design and pattern. And another myth in code is poor documentation. Developers don't like writing documents what they are going to write and what they are doing. And the other project team consider it, the developer are automatically writing documentation inside the code. So that is also one of the struggling part in the code area. And another very, very important part is testing and documentation. So usually QA and QC part in many software development company is the last part before project is going to, or the software is going to the production. But we consider this testing as early as you can detect error or the bugs. I don't like saying bugs, but the errors are some challenge in your code. So you can rectify it quickly. Your cost for rework will go down. So the test management you have to do while you are doing project management, you have to also do test management at that time, how you will be testing your product entirely. Usually when we do software development, we don't provide the code coverage for the entire project because we have to meet deadlines. So it's good if you have a code coverage, you have a unit test there, you have end-to-end testing. So it will reduce cancellation, failure, or over budgeting of your project. So let's dig more deeper into why software over budgeted, why we have to do rework when we have written one code, why we are writing again. So as I earlier said, these two parts are very important, SRS and the testing. So I put test before coding. So usually projects, 84% defects in the software are before writing single line of code. And we are doing testing usually at the end of writing codes. So if the code part, and this I am taking from one research paper, these numbers. So and most of the defects are in your user requirement. And that is before you are writing code, and the design defects. And the only the defects in software for the code is 6%, and the 10% are other related to project management and some other external factors. So if you want to calculate your rework, you have to see how much effort you have to do for completion of total project, length and how much you have to do rework, you can find out the rework percentage. And the rework percentage can help you to uh, keep record of your project on time or on budget, or if the budget is changing or the timeline is changing, this rework percentage can make you familiar how you can manage this change management. So what is way forward? So there are different methodologies. Waterfall is becoming obsolete, but I'm taking the same data from Standish Group. They said for the smaller projects, the success rate is almost similar to Agile and Waterfall, but for the bigger projects, it's almost double uh, than the Waterfall. So agile approach or the strategy is better to manage your projects. Um, the challenge projects or the over budgeted project are almost same, but the cancel rate is way lower in agile methodology. So if you are doing medium size or the bigger projects, we suggest you have to have agile approach. You should have CI/CD approach. You should have code coverage. You should have testing. You should have well documented SRS. So the next part, I'm going to talk about in-house or outsourcing, whether you have to have software development team in-house or you should outsource, you should have a 50%, 50-50% team. So we have some experiences. Few people contacted me. We have outsourcing team, but we want our project management team. So some teams are struggling for the project management. Some teams are struggling for the SRS. And there are only few teams, those complain about the code. Code doesn't work. They say code doesn't work as we want the code to work, or to according to our business goal. So here, there is nothing right answer. You should have an in-house or outsourcing team. It depends on your um, business goal. You should have asked these questions. What is your business goal? Whether you are going to make software company, whether you are going to keep making new software every time, whether how much part of the business in your business is software development, the real software development instead of the software maintenance work. So these questions will help you to give you idea how much dependency you have dependency on the software development team. For example, in outsourcing, you can, I will give more details about like in-house or outsource, what are pros and cons, and then how we have to calculate prices. So this will give you idea whether you should have in-house team or whether you have to have outsourcing team. So usually team size, these at least 5 these uh, title should be in your team, or the type 5 different type of people should be in the team. If the security team is security guy is not available in your team, it will still work. But if you don't have good business analyst who has a good domain knowledge, you will struggle for your SRS. And if you do not have a good designers, designers are usually working on your business analyst and the architect, how he think, how he define your product, how it should look like. The designers work on those feedbacks. And then the good project management, if you are using agile strategy, whether you are using Kanban, Scrum, uh, how good project managers are managing projects. And so if you are going to take in-house, you should have at least like these 5 roles. And for developers, it depends on your product, whether you are going to make mobile app, there are different kind of apps and there are different parts of the um, uh, that app. For example, if we just see one blockchain wallet, you should have front-end team, you should have a back-end team, then you should have a blockchain developer, if you are writing for your own blockchain, you you want to develop some wallet, you should have security guy who do who does who do understand um, what are these signatures and where how you have to manage key value stores. So and for developers, if you are taking 2 to 3, usually for the software development team, you have 3 to 5 developers in one team. And 3 to 5 developer, if your churn rate is higher, you are in trouble. So usually we prefer, the software development teams prefer having pairing development. And still, if the churn rate is higher, you will be struggling for that kind of pair programming as well. So let's see in-house pros and cons of in-house teams. Uh, the good thing is you will be having dedicated team, and that team will be having product ownership. Uh, so they will own this your product, uh, and they have better understanding of product. Your collaboration will be very good. But the cons are hiring cost. Usually, to hire good developer, you have to spend 3 to 4 months. Can your project afford this 3 to 4 months to hire a good developer? Can you manage churn management? Can you manage this the guy you hire with the effort of 3 months, he's going to leave you in 6 months? How you can manage that? That also affect in-house teams. And how your team, if you are a startup, you should have some work culture. You have to develop that work culture and the skills um, required for your projects. And work culture usually take around 3 years to mature, and high cost to maintain teams. These are some kind of cons having in-house team. So what are pros and cons of outsourcing? It's a cost effective. Usually, if one team is not working mm, good for one part of the project, you can look for another team as well. And the scaling is very easy. For example, you are developing one product, your business need another product, and the one team is busy developing one product, you can easily scale up, scale down. If it is costing you higher, you can also scale down. And usually the pros for the outsourcing team is they have matured work culture, and they have some lessons from success and failures of projects, cancel, over budget. They have seen multiple projects. But there are definitely cons when there are some pros. The cultural difference, work cultural difference. Um, you might be having a different work culture, and outsourcing team usually are from the developing countries, especially South Asia and Southeast Asia. So this work cultural difference will also be a hurdle. And the other is time zone. They can be in different time zone. You might not have effective communication, and you usually when you are doing outsourcing, you feel you do not have complete control, sense of uh, lack of complete control. So if you want to hire outsourcing company, or you want to have your in-house team, other than these factors, you have to see the cost calculation. So I found this cost calculator where you can calculate cost to have in-house team or whether to have outsourcing team and few maintenance guy in-house. So we will also put this calculator at RNS solution website. We will make some small calculator. So usually for average, even you are going to hire the resourceful, the good team member from the developing country, the average price is around 2,500 USD per month to maintain that resource. That number we gave over period of our experience with the over period of time, we come up with this number to have a good resource, even from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, where the developer prices, hiring developer is cheaper, but your average price come for the good resources around 2,500. So when you are going to take outsourcing team, there should be some evaluation criteria. So for the right partner, you have to search for the right partner. You have to take 4 or 5 different outsourcing team, talk to them, see their skill set, ask them their working culture, how they work, how they will be executing your project, how they visualize your project, and whether how many projects they are executing. Whether they have spare team members, those can work on your product, and whether they have right technology experience before, and the suitable pricing model. This suitable pricing model, this is also very important. Usually software also struggle for the pricing. As we seen earlier in data, it's a 189%. So what should be the suitable pricing model? I believe 20% profit, 15 to 20 or 20 to 25%. This is the best profit model for outsourcing team. It depends on their objective, whether their unit cost is 2,500 for good resource, and they have a bench, their technology bench, for example, they are using 3 different bench, different skill set bench, and the average unit cost is 2,500. And it depends on that pricing way, how they price you. And their objective to achieve within 6 months or 1 year. Usually software development team doesn't have their runway more than 6 months. Usually they have 6 months runway. And in small size teams or medium size, they have 3 to 4 months runway. So 20% profit modeling is very suitable if you are going to hire outsourcing team. So I have 2 use cases. We have 2 projects we developed for our own developers. Our developers have ownership of these 2 projects, Anthlia and Erosri. Why I took these 2 projects, Erosri was a short-term projects, and our goal was to develop very quickly, and Anthlia was a long-term project. Our goal was 2 years to develop. And for Anthlia, for Erosri, because we want to push product very quickly, and we have right skill set in our team, and we have a short runway to develop. So we learn a lot from Erosri. We made some mistakes. We learn from that. And for Anthlia, we have 50% outsourcing and 50% in-house team. And why we did outsourcing, as we are a software development team. So we want to flourish ecosystem in our city to get more developers. We are usually working in blockchain area, and the skill set for the blockchain technology, the recent graduate or the existing software developer, they don't possess usually blockchain related skill set. So we want to help university students to equip themselves to blockchain, and then later on we might hire a few developers from them. And we took some, okay, so let's go to the Erosri. Erosri was over budgeted. We are software development team. We have a couple of years experience for software development. The domain was new. It's an e-commerce domain. And our SRS was not well prepared. And because of SRS was not well prepared, we know what we are going to achieve, but how we are going to achieve, what will be our design, whatever we made design, we didn't follow that because it was our own project and everybody was excited. So we missed that part, and our estimation, we exceeded our timeline 50% over our estimations. And there was lack of collaboration, and the funding was our own, and it was also poor. So that's why we have a short runway. So we learned from Erosary, you should have well-defined SRS. Otherwise, even it's your own project, all developers own share there, they will struggle to develop. And from Antlia blockchain, as I earlier said, we have in-house team, and then we hired university students as internees. We hired them to join as internees and work on the projects. And all universities projects, we divided projects in small modules so they can focus on one module and they can come up with the results. And all universities projects fails. They few have some results, but they are not production ready codes. So in-house team completed all our development on time and within budget. So we learn from Antlia blockchain, as we have very well defined SRS for this Antlia blockchain. So it was easy for our internal team to develop and collaborate. And they were experienced and they were well funded for development of this blockchain. But for the university students, we provided them SRS. Somehow SRS was only written form. We didn't define SRS that is near to code, or those can be easily translated to code. So they struggle a lot. And there was lack of collaboration among teams because one university have 4 team members. They are from different semesters, different sections. So there was lack of collaboration because we let them do collaboration among them instead of we manage them. And they didn't make any documentation or the testing plan while they were writing code. Some of the codes are, these codes are available on Antlia. Our team codes working perfectly. Our team have around 10 team members were working on this project, and there was over 20 people were working on from universities. And so these are some lessons that we learned from our experiences. So let's talk about the last part of this entire talk. Um, SRS, testing and documentation. These are the two parts in software development where we don't focus. And when we have client, those are well prepared, we are so much happy to work with them, and we feel so confident to work with them. So in our in-house or outsourcing doesn't matter. You should have these SRS requirement, well prepared analysis, and then you have to define it very well. And then the testing part, you have to manage testing earlier, how you will be doing testing when you are developing any product. And the collaboration and the project management, that should be also on very strong part. If your developers are not well versed in some skill, they can learn over a period of time. But if your requirements are bad, your rework will increase. If your testing is not managed earlier, they didn't find the defect earlier, your rework percentage will increase. So I'm open for any questions, and I would love to answer questions. I hope I make some sense while going through this software development dynamics.
So I can see some questions in the chat box. Would you want me to read them out for you and so that you could answer them?
Okay, so what problems have been addressed in different stages of software life cycle? respect to cost estimation. So I'm reading, so I will be answering them. Very good question. Um in different software cycle, if we say the first cycle, and as I earlier said, SRS is 56% um, of the entire software. So usually the cost estimation um, um, should be after this SRS. Your software analysis, software definition, and the design, then it is very easy for any company, any team to do cost estimation. So I will say the cost estimation should be after SRS. And if the development team prepare SRS, um, that is also possible. There is no right or wrong for who should prepare SRS. We suggest, as I early mentioned, the entire team should prepare this SRS. I hope I answer your question. The second question.
Yes. Uh, no, please continue.
Okay. So why embedded coder created program always stop its execution after a few minutes? I didn't exactly understand why embedded coder, which kind of embedded coder created program always stop its execution after a few minutes. I actually, this question even doesn't make sense to my topic. So what is the traditional software development method and agile software development method? So the traditional is waterfall. You start once and you complete your project and hand over to um, your client, and the client will see your product at the end. In agile method, you keep your client with you, you keep updating them, their updates, what you are developing, and you develop in phases, you test, uh, and then you give to your client, your customers. They see it, they give feedback, and then you do the next developments part of software. When you are doing product development, the next question, in competitive market, how can we maintain process of SDLC? So how can we maintain process of SDLC? In competitive, yeah, this is one of very nice question that's come across. Unfortunately, we have this scenario where the market is very fragile. The people think software develop, they don't understand software development. They just see every software has a just one application. Every software have different dynamics, and so mostly small size company, freelancer, they don't care about SDLC. They just go and get it done situation. So usually that happen, unfortunately, and that's why projects struggle. So I believe there should be the product owner who are the company who's going to develop, and the top management, they should involve and they should enforce SDLC, even it's a short size project and even it's a large project. For large project, it is must. For medium, it is must. For small, if they will not follow SDLC process, they are going to struggle. Okay, so Jess Ribello, if I'm pronouncing right, what is the role of changing trend in implementing SDL for any particular project? Changing trends, change management, if you are saying, if we are doing SDLC, so that will be the part of project management. We have to have change management. If you are developing projects in phases and you make some modules and then do development, it will be easy to implement any change. If you have developed entire project and then you are implementing any change in the projects, so your rework percentage will go higher. So I hope I answer your question. So what are the existing software security metrics used for different phases of software development life cycle? I don't see any software. I don't know exactly the security metrics used for different phases of software development lifecycle. Um, we are working usually for uh, blockchain and fintech area. So we don't see any metrics that we should take care of while we are developing software for the security metric. Usually there are different kind of testing. The good testing, recently I saw one fuzzing project. Google have also one fuzzing project. If you want to do testing, you should ask Google fuzzing test. And over they launched that fuzzing tool. It's just write Google fuzzer. It will give you the web link of that software. So it take around, they launched 3 years ago, and they find out thousands of vulnerabilities in software. So there is no right like metrics for security for any products. Security is very living thing. One thing is secure today. One software is secure today. Tomorrow is not secure. And the security, I have many years of experience in security, so I don't see any metrics will work for software development for security. So it's a very living thing, and it should be involved from software requirement specification. It should be involved in your design. I also work on usability of security products. For example, we are developing blockchain products, and the usability is one of the aspect. It's a mother of complexity. There's a one very good paper written by Alma Whiten in 1999. She was later on Google director. Why Johnny can't encrypt? It's a PGP. PGP is a pretty good privacy email software, and it was very complex to use. I met their founder in 2019 in Korea, and it's still very complex to use for normal user, the PGP software. So the next question is, what are existing software? Okay, next, what are invalid transaction in software testing? What are invalid transitions? Sorry, not transactions. Invalid transitions in software testing that didn't conform your use cases. If you have to write use cases, if didn't conform that use cases, that's invalid. So again, Robert Fernando, when there is small project and small team, which area one should consider to reduce cost? Again, requirement. You have to consider your requirement. If you are developing car, you first make some simple
Rams.
sorry. Yeah. So again, the requirement, you should focus on the requirement. Make your requirement for the viable products, and then you can reduce your cost. The development time, when your requirement is clear, go to 3 different teams. Uh, that will definitely reduce your cost. What is your message for the software development startup? Any specific advice, especially during this pandemic or future? Very good question. For startups, they are struggling. If you are doing outsourcing, that's a good thing. Give some stake to the software development firm. For example, we also get some equity when we are developing software. It will reduce your cost. It will give ownership to the third party. And if you want to develop in-house, you have to be very careful. These factors, what is your bench strength, what is going to be your churn rate, and I will suggest startup specifically one suggestion: give some software development company equity and some liquid money to do development. There is another question. There's a couple of questions, so I will try to cover. We have 15 minutes. I will try to cover all. What is your message for, okay, how to accomplish projects successfully even if you have right team and right SRS, but client change requirement frequently? I just need to know your thought and experience. Very nice question again, Devendra Goel, and very right question, by the way. Usually we get most of the time change, and we suggest we talk to our clients. We don't usually accept changes frequently when we are developing. But you have to take their input because they are the product owner. We are not the product owner. We tell them, if you will do this change, we do this change management. We reevaluate projects and we give them a timeline. We give them the resources, we give them the budget. Okay, if you are going to do this change, and we take some time, we don't come up quickly with the answer. We do again the all process of SRS, design, estimation, requirement definition, and then we do project management and give them the estimations. So you have to be honest with your client. And if you are honest with your client, you give them the true picture, they will not mind. And if you will just accepting all the changes, it means you are not going to complete project at the end. Or you are going to complete project, it will be over budgeted, it will be delayed, and it might not conform all their requirements. So I will suggest to talk to your client. If the change is very important for the goal of business, then accept that change, give them again re-estimation, and make do again project management. I hope I answered this question. How can we reduce the cost of software development and not compromise in quality to benefit the client? For the software development company, how you can reduce software development is directly proportional. If you are doing pair programming, if you are going through all the SDLC process, then it's very difficult to reduce cost, and you give them the quality product. So I don't have right answer for this, how you can reduce cost. The reducing cost will definitely affect your quality. So the last question, I believe, while choosing a software development company for any product development, would you like to suggest things we should consider while vetting the company? Like we recommend checking their certification and portfolio, any other thing that can help? I will go back to my presentation here. I said I took this from this link. For the right partner, you have to check these uh, mm, metrics. The right partner should have right skills. You have to ask them how they will tackle your project, how they will mm, ask them visualize my product development and let me know how it will work, how it will be maintained after development, and then ask them how many projects they have and how much time they will and how many team members they will allocate to your projects. And then for pricing, ask them give you a realistic estimation. So if they fulfill all this requirement and meet them, check their online presence, talk to their team. And I like one project. Recently, we are working with one startup. They have very good written SRS. They come up with even changes later on. We still love them. We still like them. They talk to they even took our psychological test. There is a Crystal, I think, just right, Crystal AI psychology. You will find the link. They ask our few team members to present our that AI-based test. They can see whether we fit for them. Even we adopt for our company to hire new developers, new team members to go through this AI test. So these are few things I will recommend. And don't shy about the price. We usually divide pricing with the resource time. If our client asks how much we are going to get, we even break down, okay, this much money we will be getting from you. For example, 20%, we tell them we are going to get 20% profit from you over the period of this time. There are different model for software development from the third party. And usually many of our client, we do not take one of our criteria for taking project at RNS solution is we do not take more projects uh, when we didn't finish some project. When we do not over crowd our team, overfeed them. So we take only projects that we can complete within a time. And then we talk to the projects. Tell them, okay, we will be free within next 2 weeks. We will be free within 1 month. This project timeline is there. We might be free in a month, maybe in 2 months, and please talk to us. And many clients wait for us. We are doing right now 3 projects, and 2 projects are almost going to complete. The third one have like 2 more months to complete, and we have 4 to 5 projects. Those want to talk to us, those want to work with us, we cannot quickly start. They want to start very quickly because they want their idea to crystallize very quickly. But we tell them our availability, and some of them are waiting and some are going to some other place. So I hope I answer all of the question. If you still have questions, we have 8 minutes. And
I have a last question. So the reports you were talking about that these companies check your mental level on with the help of AI. So I just wanted to ask, what is the leadership factor? How important is that factor in getting a project cancelled or delayed or accepted? We've gone through a lot of formulas, mathematical formulas, but what do you think about leadership factor and how does it affect?
so the leadership of outsourcing team or the entire like the management team of the product owner?
I think the outsourcing team.
Yeah, so the leadership is very important. Um, for example, not only developer team doesn't matter in term of psychological test. If you are doing very sensitive test, sensitive product, for example, fintech related, then you might check all the profiles of all the developers. You have to take binding from them. For the leadership, the psychology is very important, whether they are cooperative, whether they will accept your changes, whether they will accept disruptions in coming days. And they should have idea of product development. For example, in our case, I have one failure startup. I have done failure in 2018, and I learned from that failure. They should know how it is to have your own product in the market, and what kind of business have real challenges, not only software challenges. So for example, now we have our own 2 products in the market, and we do understand the business goals change. Sometimes you are pivoting, and you have to change entire your business model. So the software development management team should adopt those changes. That's why agile methodology is getting more popular.
That was a wonderful session. I think you answered all of my questions, all of our visitors' questions also with precise answers. And it was great to have you on our webinar. And thanks a lot for giving us some information about the software industry.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. If you have more questions, you can comment on this YouTube video or the Good Forms Facebook video link. So I would love to answer even after this session. Thank you so much.
All right, then. Bye.
Bye.